To make the presentation of our 7th inductee, would you please welcome to the stage the star of the Athens 2004 Olympic Games and the only Australian cyclist to have won 2 individual Olympic gold medals, Ryan Bailey, OAM. Our next inductee stamped his authority both on the road and the track.
In the pantheon of Australian cycling champions, Brad McGee rates amongst his country's finest. On the road and track, his versatility and outstanding record makes him one of the all-time greats. He was the first Australian to wear the leader's jersey in all 3 of the Grand Tours, the Tour de France, Giro d'Italia and Vuelta a España. He also beat the kings of the road for stage wins in both the Tour and the Giro. But it was on the track where his career began and blossomed. At age 19, he became a junior world champion and world record holder in team's pursuit, and a year later, at his Olympic debut in Atlanta in 1996, he won a pair of bronze medals. Shortly before the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, disaster struck when Brad crashed during a training ride. Surgeons inserted a plate and 7 screws into a broken collarbone. Just 18 days later, he bravely shrugged aside his injuries and won a bronze medal for his country. 2002 was an extraordinary year. He won the World Individual Pursuit Crown, won his 5th Commonwealth Games gold medal, and took to the road to win stage 7 of the Tour de France.
It looks as though McGee is going to get the victory of his life. Bradley McGee, the Australian, takes it on the line.
A year later, he wore the Tour's coveted yellow jersey. Returning to the track, he won gold in team's pursuit at the 2004 Athens Olympics.
Australia remain the champions of the world at this sport.
And silver in the individual pursuit, beaten only by the legendary Bradley Wiggins.
2 great friends from Australia and Great Britain.
In a career without blemish, his record included 4 Olympic campaigns, 5 Olympic medals, including 1 gold medal, 2 world titles, and 4 Commonwealth Games golds. After putting his body through incredible stress for nearly 2 decades, McGee retired at the end of 2008, aged 32. As an athlete member for the sport of cycling, Brad McGee, OAM, is inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame.
Please welcome a cycling superstar, Bradley McGee. Another round of applause for Brad McGee. That was kind of nice having Ryan present that, wasn't it?
It was. Roomie, my old roomie, back in the few weeks leading up to the Athens Olympics, where Ryan went on to light the stage and come home with a bag full of gold medals. So, yeah, good memories.
We just saw the highlights of your career. There were so many of them, but particularly between 2002 and 2004, it was a happy hunting ground for you. World Championship, a stage win of the Tour de France, and also an Olympic gold medal in Athens. When you look back at your career, you dreamt about being a professional cyclist. What do you think when you look back at those achievements?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually dreamt about being an Olympic athlete first. Watching Charlie lead his boys to team pursuit victory in '84. I remember sitting with my brothers in the living room and calculating when we actually could get a crack ourselves at the Olympics, not knowing that cycling would be our pathway. So that took off, and then one thing led to another, and I found myself in the big bad world of professional road cycling. And not to let go of the track, which became my real passion. I was just blessed to be able to do both for so many years.
How difficult was that though? Because you were a superstar in European cycling. You were winning stages of the Tour de France. You actually had all 3 leader jerseys from the Tour, the Giro, the Vuelta. Just incredible. So you must have had enormous pressure to not put on the green and gold on the track. Or did you fight hard for it?
Actually, it was quite the opposite. It was a great acceptance and encouragement from many people, including the athletes at the time, most importantly. some great coaching staff and my family, of course, all the way. But it was really, we've got to do this. For me, pinning on the green and gold jersey and racing was like a national service. And I think everyone sort of accepted that and respected that. And we just made it happen.
I know bike riders are tough, but in particular for you, in 2000, 18 days before the Olympic Games in 2000, we just saw the very horrible vision there. You had your collarbone screwed back together and still went on to win a bronze medal at Sydney 2000. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, and look, it's just wonderful to see, the likes of Dr. Grace being recommended and accepted into this amazing hall. Back in the day, it was Dr. Barnes who fixed me up. I actually crashed only 3 kilometres from SportsMed, which is where the operation was done. So in some ways, it was a good crash. And I remember waking up after the operation, and he just grabbed my arm and actually launched it over my head. And I went to scream, but then went, "Oh, it actually feels all right." And straight away, the Olympics is back on. Let's go.
Congratulations on being inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame, and it makes it even more special. I know Charlie's here, Dean Woods is here, so given that Dean was an inspiration and seeing Charlie lead those boys to 1984 gold in the team's pursuit, I think that's a pretty special night for you.
It's a special night all round, and I really just a special mention to my wife, Shani. Oh, I'm such an old softie.
No, it's beautiful.
There's so many people involved in an athlete's career, and in some ways I felt begrudgingly I'm going to drag Shani back through, what was a lengthy part of both of our lives. Of course, now we've got kids and we've got our own careers in other fields, but Shani, thank you.
Well done. Bradley McGee, congratulations on being inducted. Well done.